Despite 30 years of slip, slop, slap warnings, 2/3 of Australians will be diagnosed with skin cancer in some form or another by the age of 70. In South Australia, the fight against the disease continues on two fronts, as Mike Sexton reports.
And the world number one, Ji Shin, one under par for the day.
When South Korean Ji Shin competed at this year's Australian Open, she carried with her a little piece of South Australia.
Gets over the hill, it should be a good angle into the green.
On her cap was a badge featuring an angry sun. It's the logo of the Fiona Pike Skin Cancer Awareness Program.
A lot of people in Australian golf knew Fiona and support her, and I guess there's that emotional attachment as well as the sensible message that she's trying to get across.
The message is simple: enjoy the sun, but remember it can kill you, because it was skin cancer that claimed the life of Fiona Pike.
Pike, one up this afternoon on the second last hole, set up victory with a chip to within 2 metres of the pin.
After winning 2 South Australian amateur titles, Fiona Pike spent 8 seasons on the professional tour, where her highlights included a third in the British Open and runner-up in the Italian Open. She'd retired to coaching when a tumour in her skull was diagnosed as a melanoma, an advanced skin cancer. In her final interview on Community Channel 31, she spoke of her campaign to save others from her fate.
You have to start somewhere, and it's all about the education and the awareness. As I said, not only for my fellow golfers, but getting the word out there to every Aussie who walks out their back door of a morning.
What's about today?
Yes, I would wear a hat.
Where is it, please? Oh, okay.
Fiona Pike's sister Louise has continued the campaign, and their presence was felt at this year's Australian Open, where they spread both the word and the factor 30. The harsh reality is that skin cancer is the most common cancer in Australians aged between 15 and 44, and that it claims the lives of 4 people per day.
It's a very aggressive cancer. There are very few treatment options. I think many people would consider it a pharmacologic graveyard until recently.
So I just did the different concentrations of the BRAF inhibitor.
Professor Michael Brown heads the experimental therapeutic lab at the Royal Adelaide Hospital. One of the areas of research is melanoma, and how new drugs may be able to curb the aggressiveness of the cancer by identifying the gene that drives its extraordinary growth rate.
And that makes the cancer have an Achilles heel, if you like, quite susceptible to these drugs blocking that growth pathway and stopping the growth. Unfortunately, it doesn't cure patients.
What it does do is give researchers time to examine the makeup of the cancer and look at ways of attacking it. And in some patients, like Nicole de Vries, it gives precious time. The mother of 4 has been to the RAH for treatment so often over the past few years that the staff greet her as an old friend.
Absolutely fantastic here, and it makes all the difference. And they explain everything. Professor Brown has been absolutely wonderful, and he explains everything. And you know, you're given the option. They're not making you do it.
Nicole de Vries was pregnant when a melanoma was diagnosed in her armpit. After initially being told there was no treatment, she sought a second opinion and has agreed to be part of 2 clinical trials at the RAH, experimenting with new drugs.
I guess I'm hoping for a cure, but yeah, that's why I'm willing to trial anything and just see how it all goes. And you know, so far the one I'm on has been shrinking the cancer, so yeah, that's all I can ask for.
The battle to defeat skin cancer is a long and difficult one, and these recent victories are limited. But Professor Brown says the breakthroughs are an encouraging sign for a disease that has been so resistant to treatment.
Probably only in the last few years that people such as myself, so I'm a medical oncologist, I give systemic treatment for cancer. We wouldn't have seen that many melanoma patients. We're seeing more than we ever have because there is now some hope giving these new treatments. That's actually the same pattern that's been followed for many other cancers.
This month marks 2 years since Fiona Pike lost her fight with melanoma. But her message that prevention, for the moment, is the only certain cure continues. One of her friends from her days on the tour, Kari Webb, has agreed to champion the cause, making sure the Angry Sun logo continues to be seen.
My legacy would be that we just keep on drumming the message in that it is so important that we maintain something in our lives that becomes so habitual that we forget almost that we're doing the right thing by protecting ourselves.